Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 with me, Frank Pereira, on Rajya Sabha television. Here are the headlines. Voting ends for 4 Lok Sabha and 10 assembly constituencies across 6 states and 1 union territory. Counting of votes to be completed on Tuesday. Queues outside banks shorten on Saturday. Mobile ATM vans ease matters in some cities. Despite hardships, people say they support the government's move. Fierce fighting underway in Kashmir's Pulwama district as security forces engage terrorists. Meanwhile, 3 soldiers killed and 4 others injured in IED blast by suspected Ulfa terrorists in Assam. National Investigative Agency carries out searches at 10 places in Mumbai on a case registered against Zakir Naik's banned NGO Islamic Research Foundation. And in cricket, India placed comfortably with 298-run lead against England on the 3rd day of the Vizag Test. England all out for 255 in the first innings after a 5-wicket haul by off-spinner R. Ashwin. By-elections to 4 Lok Sabha constituencies and 10 assembly seats across 6 states and 1 union territory concluded at 5 p.m. today. The elections are being seen as the first major ground test for the ruling BJP in the wake of the demonetization of the 500 and 1000 currency notes by the Modi government. Among the 4 Lok Sabha seats, 2 are from West Bengal and 1 each from Assam and Madhya Pradesh. Among the assembly seats, there are 3 are from Tamil Nadu, 2 in Tripura, 1 each in Assam, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh and Arunachal Pradesh, and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Polling crossed 50% in all 3 constituencies in Tamil Nadu by 1 p.m. with Arakurichi topping the list with 61.98%. Around 36% votes were cast till 11 a.m. in the by-poll to 2 Lok Sabha seats and 1 assembly seat in West Bengal. An estimated 30% electorate exercised their franchise till noon today for by-elections to Lakhimpur parliamentary constituency and 25% for the constituency in Assam. An estimated 41% voting was recorded till 1 p.m. in the by-elections to Shahdol Lok Sabha constituency, while the turnout was 53.28% in Nepanagar assembly seat in Madhya Pradesh. The counting of votes will take place on Tuesday. Well, by-elections, of course, were held today to 4 Lok Sabha constituencies and 10 assembly seats across 6 states and 1 union territory. Of course, the union territory was Puducherry, and the states that went to polls, or the seats, the parliamentary seats that fell vacant, were 4 parliamentary seats, 2 from West Bengal and 1 each from Assam and Madhya Pradesh. Among the assembly seats, there were 3 from Tamil Nadu, 2 in Tripura, 1 each in Assam, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh and Arunachal Pradesh, and 1 seat in the Union Territory of Puducherry.
अभी लोग आ रहे हैं, थोड़ा आ रहे हैं. यहाँ पुलिस का बंदोबस्त अच्छा है और मैं यहाँ वोटिंग करने के बाद मैं काम जाना है.
আমাদের এখানে কোনো সময় মানে ঝগড়াঝাটি হয় না, খুব সুন্দরভাবে শান্তিপূর্ণভাবে ভোট হয়. কোনো সময় আমরা এদিকে কোনো মানে দেন দরবার কি জিনিস আমরা ওইদিকে এইসব হয় না.
Well, it's day 11 since the demonetization took place, and the crowds outside banks and ATMs continue. As the opposition parties and some state chiefs voiced their opinion against the move, the government is continuing to defend the decision, saying that it was a good one.
On Saturday, banks across the country served only their respective customers, refusing to exchange old notes from customers of other banks. However, this restriction was not applicable to senior citizens.
सीनियर सिटीजन के लिए सहूलत दे रहे हैं तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. अभी रोजाना हम सीनियर सिटीजन को एक आधे बैंक में जो है सहूलत है, बाकी के बैंकों में कुछ भी नहीं है. लेडीज, जेंट्स, सीनियर सिटीजन सबको एक ही लाइन में खड़ा कर रहे हैं. सीनियर सिटीजन को अगर आपको देना है तो डेली सीनियर सिटीजन को दीजिए, पहला प्रेफरेंस उनको दीजिए, एक लाइन बनाइए और दूसरा जो है दूसरे पर्सन को भी दीजिए।
Even though people are facing hardships, there is support for the government's move too. Mobile ATM vans in some cities have also eased things.
ये तो बहुत अच्छी सुविधा वो कस्टमरों के लिए जहाँ भी चाहे वहाँ मिल रही सुविधा बहुत अच्छी है।
बहुत इजी और बहुत बढ़िया सुविधा है। गवर्नमेंट काले धन बचाने के लिए जो कर रहे हैं बहुत बढ़िया कर रहे हैं, इसमें सहयोग करता हूँ और सभी लोग सहयोग कर रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छा है।
The government believes the move will bring probity in political and administrative work, besides reducing the gap between the rich and the poor. Home Minister Rajnath Singh said the hardships are short-lived as the government is putting in efforts with full sensitivity to normalize the situation.
इसके कारण कुछ लोगों को कुछ समय के लिए असुविधा हो सकती है, लेकिन असुविधा के बावजूद इस देश की जनता इस फैसले का स्वागत कर रही है। मैं सचमुच इस देश की जनता का मैं अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं। उनके अंदर एक राष्ट्रीय स्वाभिमान का जो भाव है, उसके परिणाम स्वरूप वह कठिनाई कुछ समय के लिए उठाने को तो तैयार हैं, लेकिन राष्ट्र हित में लिए गए इस फैसले का वो स्वागत कर रहे हैं।
देश में अधिक पैसा आ रहा है बैंकों में और आतंकवाद और माओवादी और बाकी सबों के आर्थिक स्तंभ टूट रहे हैं, तो ये सामने दिखाई पड़ रहा है और जनता इस पूरे ऐतिहासिक साहसिक मुहिम के साथ पूरी है नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ।
However, opposition to the move continues. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee accused the NDA government of pursuing discriminatory politics against the state by not releasing new 500 rupee notes in the state. The TMC Supremo, along with party leaders, visited ATMs outside the RBI office in Kolkata and spoke to commoners. Meanwhile, the Income Tax Department has issued hundreds of notices seeking source of funds from individuals and firms who have deposited huge amounts of cash in banks since November 8th. A countrywide inquiry has begun and notices have been sent out. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the ripple effect of demonetization has left thousands of daily wage laborers jobless. While some are waiting for job calls and struggling to make ends meet, others are hoping they will get their pending payments. RSTV's Anu Diwan brings us this report.
Outside Delhi's industrial area in Patparganj, daily wage laborers feeling the effect of the currency note ban. Some are waiting for work, others for pending payments. Many say they can't decide whether to stand in bank queues or look for work.
पूरा दिन लाइन लगने पर उसमें जब हमें देखो 4,000 रुपये वापस करेंगे, उसमें समझ 400 रुपये ढाड़ी हमारी चलेगी, उसमें हमारे कहाँ बचेगा और हम कहाँ उसमें से कहाँ खर्चा करें, कहाँ अपने बच्चा को पालूं, कहाँ अपनी खाए।
The note ban has left daily wage laborers jobless. Dinesh, a JCB driver, has not heard of a work call in 8 days.
काम में तो बहुत फर्क है जी, क्योंकि जिसने आपको काम कराना है, किसी को भी काम कराना, उस पास पैसा तो है नहीं, उनके पास आगे से पैसा नहीं है तो वो काम क्या चलेगा। इसलिए काम का तो बहुत फ़र्क है। बैठे बैठे रहते हैं, टाइम बहुत सारे हमारे कोई पर्सनल ही फर्क, सारे जनता को ही फर्क। बैंक में जाते हैं तो पैसा कभी 1000 मिल जाता है, कभी 2000, कभी लाइन लगाओ पूरे, ऐसे तो कोई समस्या हल नहीं होगा।
Every section of the society has been affected by note ban, but it's the lower strata that seems to be the worst hit. Anu Diwan's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, there you have it, of course, demonetization announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi more than a week ago. It's day 11 since that particular announcement was made, where about 86% of India's currency was declared null and void in one stroke, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that 500 and 1,000 rupee notes will no longer be legal tender. Since then, of course, several issues have been faced by people from across the country, but the general sense among the public and among the people is that it's a good move and it's a move in the right direction. They are willing to go through this pain and ensure that the country thus improves and it's a better situation as far as the entire nation is concerned. That's the general feeling, that's the general sense, of course, that is coming through from the public, where they're saying no pain, no gain. And we've seen serpentine queues outside ATMs, outside banks, not just in urban areas, but also in rural areas, where people are going through some kind of hardships, but the Prime Minister has asked the nation to give him 50 days and the situation will improve and the situation will be far better than it was. So that's the situation as far as rural India is concerned. Even in urban areas, there are several daily wage laborers who are finding it difficult to get jobs, finding it difficult to make ends meet, and they've been running from pillar to post to try and get someone to give them a job so that they can ensure that they get their daily wage at least. So as far as the demonetization move itself is concerned, we've seen that there have been several measures that have been taken by the government from on a day-to-day basis. Of course, new rules and new regulations have been put in place for the banks to follow and also for the general public to adhere to. Joining me for a chat right now is our correspondent Sham Sundar. Sham, you've just returned from the tribal areas of Madhya Pradesh. What is the situation like there on the ground? What are the kind of problems that the people are facing in the tribal areas and the rural areas of Madhya Pradesh?
Well, frankly, it is quite strange because if you see at the economy of tribal areas, generally the economy depends on the agriculture. Very small farmers are there, and most of them they work as daily wage laborer. So, and they don't require actually big notes like 1,000 rupees note or 500 rupees note, and it should not have affected their life. But we have seen, because yesterday and for last 2-3 days, we were traveling in those villages. But when we visited a weekly market, which is very important for tribals, because cities are very far from tribal villages, and they all the way come from 50 to 60 kilometers to these markets, and they come with whatever they have, rice or other things, what they get as their daily wage labor. So, and then they sell their produce, whatever they get from jungle, the other forest produce. They get to these markets, and then they sell it here and buy things for their daily needs for next 1 week. But because big notes are not there, and small notes like 100 or 50 rupees notes, these notes are not available. So the shopkeepers who buy these forest produce or other things from tribals, they are not able to buy these things, and that's how there is a scarcity of cash in tribal areas also, and they are facing a hard time because they cannot come to market every day. They have to buy things for whole week.
Indeed, you know, as far as urban India is concerned, we've seen that the general public seems to be happy with the move. They're saying that, you know, they're willing to go through some pain because we have to look at the gain in the long run. But as far as the tribal areas and the rural folk are concerned, what is their attitude to the demonetization itself?
Well, they don't know what is this step called demonetization, why government has taken this decision, because connectivity and other information network is not there. But in general, few places which are closer to the cities, they of course they use mobile phones, but not for the news or for any other information, for connecting with other people or for entertainment. But they genuinely don't know what is this decision and what is black money, because in their culture and in their lifestyle, money is not very important. As I told you, that they don't have ready cash always with them. They work as daily wage labor, and whatever they get, and most of the times they work as agriculture laborers, so they don't always get cash. They get their salary in kind. So they come to market and sell it in weekly market, and then they get some money and buy things. So they genuinely don't know what is this black money and how they are connected to this whole issue.
All right, Sham Sundar, we'll have to leave to that. Thank you so much for joining us there with those details. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritanshu Rai and you're watching Law of the Land on Rajya TV.
Our society is very insensitive to adoption.
It is discriminatory on the third.
5% of couples who have infertility need surrogacy to get pregnant.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television. Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today paid tributes to former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on her 99th birth anniversary. President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Hamid Ansari and Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi also remembered the former Prime Minister on the occasion. A prayer meeting and a function was held at the AICC headquarters where Sonia Gandhi, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh along with top party leaders paid floral tributes to Indira Gandhi. A speech of Indira Gandhi was also played during the program where she had spelt out the responsibilities towards maintaining unity and integrity of the nation as well as protecting the girl child. Rahul Gandhi remembered his grandmother as a warrior and revolutionary, while Sonia Gandhi said one lifetime was not enough to tell the late leader's story. Well, President Pranab Mukherjee delivered the Indira Gandhi Centenary Lecture at Vigyan Bhavan in the national capital on Saturday. Congress President Sonia Gandhi also spoke at the event. Let's listen in.
Indira ji was a key architect of modern India. She played a major role in shaping our country's role and destiny during a very critical period in history. She was unflinching in her concern for the poor and the disadvantaged, and she championed their cause with rare intensity.
She led our nation through the tumultuous battles of the 60s, of the 70s, never faltering in her dedication to the masses who gave her their complete trust. She faced economic crisis and prevailed. She managed the greatest refugee crisis in human history. She refused to compromise on India's noble humanitarian traditions.
Well, repeated ceasefire violations by Pakistan continue along the line of control. Early this morning, the Pakistani army targeted Indian posts in the Nowshera sector with mortars and small arms fire. Just hours later, they again resorted to heavy firing on civilian hamlets in the Sundarbani sector. Indian troops gave a befitting reply. There have been no reports of any casualty, injury or damage to property on either side.
Fresh provocation from the Pakistani side on Saturday. Pak Rangers violated the ceasefire twice in less than 6 hours, first targeting Indian posts and villages along the line of control in Nowshera sector of Rajouri district, and then resorting to heavy shelling in civilian areas of Sundarbani sector.
घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पा रहे हैं, इतनी जोर से यहाँ शेलिंग हो रही है. हमारे यहाँ मतलब जीना भी मुश्किल है और मरना भी.
Unprovoked, relentless firing by Pakistan over the last 2 months has affected the normal lives of people living in border areas. People are forced to stay indoors. Children have stopped going to schools.
हमारे बच्चों की जो पढ़ाई शढ़ाई है बहुत ऐसे ही जा रही है उनकी. 3 महीने हो गए बच्चों के घर बैठे हुए. ये बच्चे क्या पढ़ेंगे और क्या करेंगे, इन बच्चों का क्या बनेगा.
Elsewhere in the valley, students are unable to attend school as more than 40 educational institutions have been mysteriously burnt down. The renovation work is yet to begin.
बच्चों की शिक्षा से बढ़कर और कोई पुण्य नहीं हो सकता और कोई कर्तव्य नहीं हो सकता. तो स्कूल जलाना जो है तो कहीं दुनिया में स्वीकार नहीं होता है.
जो हो रहा है ये सिर्फ इंडिसिप्लिन नहीं है, ये सिर्फ क्यास नहीं है, ये टोटल अनार्की हो रही है, अनार्की है. और अब और स्कूल के टीचर रक्षा करेंगे तो पुलिस और सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का क्या काम रह गया है.
However, normalcy is slowly limping back in the valley after more than 4 months of unrest. Mobile internet services on postpaid connections have been restored. Flight operations at the Srinagar airport have also been resumed partially. After months, people were seen on the streets going about their daily activities.
अच्छा फील होगा मतलब हमारे एग्जाम्स है उससे हम मतलब नेट मदद कर सकता है सर।
रिलैक्सेशन तो मिल जाएगी मतलब हर किसी खासकर जो एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज है उनके लिए तो रियल मिलनी चाहिए और एसेंशियल मतलब बाकी भी चीजें हैं बहुत सारी हैं। विंटर आने वाला है, अगर ऐसा कुछ नहीं मिलेगा तो आगे तो बहुत सख्ती होने वाली है।
Kashmir had been under lockdown since July following the death of Hizbul terrorist Burhan Wani, which triggered massive protests in the valley. Repeated calls by separatists further prolonged the shutdown, causing massive inconvenience to residents. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
An encounter broke out after security forces launched a search operation to track down hiding militants in a village in Pulwama district of South Kashmir on Saturday. Security forces launched an anti-terrorism operation after receiving a tip-off about their presence at Begamgag village in Kakopora area. Terrorists hiding in the village opened fire on noticing the security forces, who retaliated, triggering a gun battle. A terrorist was killed in the encounter. The encounter is still underway. Well, the National Investigative Agency carried out searches at 10 places in Mumbai on a case registered against controversial preacher Zakir Naik's NGO Islamic Research Foundation. This after the government banned Zakir Naik's Islamic Research Foundation for 5 years last week. Here's more.
The National Investigation Agency conducted raids at 10 premises of controversial preacher Zakir Naik's Islamic Research Foundation in Mumbai. The raids come a day after the NIA registered a case against Naik for his alleged involvement in unlawful activities and inciting hatred among religious communities through televised speeches. On Tuesday, the foundation was banned under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act in a cabinet meeting chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
During the course of the investigation under UAPA, they are entitled to visit the premises or the place of the organization and carry out their way of investigation. And IRF has all along been a law-abiding trust, and they are ready to fully cooperate with the investigating agency.
Naik came under the scanner of the Indian government after Bangladesh banned Peace TV for inciting attack on a Dhaka cafe in July, in which 22 people were killed. Naik has been out of India ever since reports emerged that his preachings influenced one of the Dhaka attackers. The Maharashtra police has also registered criminal cases against Naik for his alleged involvement in radicalization of youths and luring them into terror activities. The Islamic tele-evangelist is already banned in the United Kingdom, Canada and Malaysia for his hate speeches against other religions. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
There's a roundup of the other national news and nationwide. A dozen passengers were injured on Saturday after 4 coaches of the Bathinda-Jodhpur passenger train derailed in Rajasthan's Sri Ganganagar district. The Bikaner-Suratgarh railway track has been blocked due to the incident, and restoration work has started. Several trains have been diverted, and Jaipur-Suratgarh, Lalgarh-Abohar passenger and Delhi-Bikaner express have been cancelled. 5 Naxals were gunned down by security forces in the jungles of Chhattisgarh's Maoist hotbed Bastar. The skirmish between personnel and ultras took place on Friday night. This is the second biggest encounter in Bastar this month after bodies of 6 Naxals, including 3 women, were recovered post a gun battle in Dantewada on November 16th. No harm was reported to the security forces, and more details were awaited. The 36th India International Trade Fair has been opened for the general public starting Saturday. Entry into the fair is free for senior citizens and children below 12 years of age. This year's edition of the yearly event kicked off with nearly 7,000 participants and is based on Prime Minister Modi's dream theme of Digital India. Well, let's now shift focus and bring you up to speed with some international news and global buzz. A heavy snowstorm recently hit many parts of northeast China's Heilongjiang province and Jilin province, severely affecting local residents by disrupting traffic. The snowstorm began late on Friday night and enveloped hail Xinjiang, including the capital city of Harbin and Mudanjiang city. A total of 7 highways within the province were closed. Meanwhile, more than 14,000 environmental workers and nearly 1,200 excavators were deployed to clear the ice and snow off the roads to ensure traffic safety in the area. Thousands of Indonesians held a peaceful rally on Saturday against growing racial and religious intolerance, calling for peace and unity among the multicultural nation. Dressed in red and white shirts, religious leaders, members of human rights groups, lawmakers and others gathered in front of the city's landmark national monument before marching along central Jakarta street. Thousands of anti-government protesters marched in Malaysia's capital on Saturday, demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Najib Razak over his alleged involvement in a multi-billion-dollar misappropriation scandal. Clad in yellow shirts, protesters marched from various spots towards the heart of Kuala Lumpur amid tight security. On to some cricket now. India posted 98 runs for the loss of 3 wickets at stumps on day 3 to take a mammoth 298-run lead in the second test against England in Visakhapatnam. Skipper Virat Kohli and Ajinkya Rahane batted well after India lost 3 early wickets. Earlier, England were all out for 255 in reply to India's first innings of 455. For England, Ben Stokes scored 70 runs and Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow scored 53 each. Resuming the day at 103 for 5, England added 152 in their first innings. For India, spinner Ravichandran Ashwin claimed his 22nd 5-wicket haul and his first against England, while Shami, Yadav and Jadeja claimed a wicket each. Well, that's it on this edition of the Bulletin. Have a good evening.